Companies to Watch.
Okay, welcome to Companies to Watch, a segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that may very well call for your attention. So from emerging industries and breakthrough innovations to market trends and risks that might be overlooked, stick around as we explore the markets for hidden gems or warning signs to steer clear of. And of course, I want you to be part of this conversation as well. So when we're done, send us a text 8855-0893 and tell us whether you think it's a good investment today or not. Risky or maybe a red flag. Shall we begin, Ryan?
All right, Dan, so what's on the table?
Okay, on the table for our very first episode, we've got Apple. I'm pretty sure this is a company that a lot of us are familiar with. In fact, I'm a very well user of it for the past few years.
You're an Apple fan, right? You've got the iPhone?
Yes, I do have the
iPhone. And iPad? And what else?
I used to own a Mac, but not anymore.
Yeah, quite into the ecosystem.
Well, the one thing that I really like about Apple is the idea that it's so simple to use and it makes it so seamless as well. So I guess that's the reason why I've been a fan for a long time. I suppose a lot of us can say that as well. But, stock has even told an even more impressive story over the last decade alone because Apple's share price has grown more than tenfold and prompted to become the first trillion-dollar company in terms of market capitalization. In fact, today, it is the biggest company in the world with a recent market value of $3.68 trillion. That's well ahead of Nvidia at $3.5 trillion, ahead of Microsoft as well, Alphabet and Amazon. So their recent fiscal year raked in about $391 billion in revenue, kept fully 24% of that, and more than $90 billion as net income.
Yeah, it is making a lot of money. So what is making news for Apple?
Well, here's the thing, though. There's some buzz surrounding Apple's story, and one of it includes its latest showdown with Indonesia. So if you've been following the news, you've probably witnessed the scene of the tug of war that has raged on for months between Jakarta and Apple after Jakarta said that Apple had not met local investment requirements. And recently, Indonesia kept a ban on the sale of Apple's iPhone 16s, saying that its $1 billion plan that includes the building of an AirTag factory is insufficient to meet local investment requirements. So
right.
I guess for the Indonesians, they're probably going to have to wait for a while before they get their hands on the iPhone 16.
So Apple promised they would do something in terms of investments, but they do not live up to expectations, at least according to Indonesia, so they are being blocked in some sense.
Yeah, in some sense, one way or another, I guess the people in Indonesia won't be able to purchase any Apple or latest Apple products because of this lack of local investment requirements that has been set by Indonesia. So at least according to Indonesia's industry minister, Apple needs to sell its flagship device in Indonesia and they need to renegotiate so that Indonesia can issue them a certificate. So they're missing a lot here if they don't end up getting the certificate.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list. You actually have a pile of bad news around Apple.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What's going
on? Next up, we've got the $95 million fine in Siri spying lawsuit. How do you like it if, let's say let's say you own an Apple, right? And you've asked for something really private, but somehow the ad started targeting towards you. So let's say you surf through Instagram or maybe Snapchat and you realize that, oh, wait, why is this particular product that you've been speaking to someone about in private has been advertising to you? How would you feel about that, Ryan?
You'll be, I suppose, having your eyebrows raised at least, wondering where did that information come from?
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened to a couple of these mobile Apple device owners who brought the complaint alleging that Apple had routinely recorded private conversations after they unintentionally activated Siri. So some claim that they mentioned about Air Jordan sneakers to third parties. And, it actually prompted them to receive targeted ads for those kinds of products. Another received for a brand name surgical treatment after he had discussed, what he had thought to be a private conversation with his doctor. So since then, Apple has denied any wrongdoing to this settlement and has agreed to the settlement. So at least as of now, they're trying to, I guess, temper the effects of all these allegations they're receiving lately. So, not so good news for them. Another one is that they're sliding market share in China. And that's according to supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, saying that it is due to iPhone's lack of shipments and lack of competition. Because of the fact that, they're losing a lot of market share, especially to the likes of Huawei, which they just released a new phone. I believe it's known as the Huawei's Mate 70 series. So that's one to watch out for as well. What are you using now, Ryan, actually?
I'm using Android. I think with most people, we don't upgrade our phones as much as before. So that's also another potential headwind for Apple.
Yeah, that might potentially be another headwind for Apple, especially with against the backdrop of Samsung and other companies who are stepping up with new innovations. So that being said, though, let's step up to talk a little bit more our verdict for today. And at least in my book, I'm going to say that Apple is probably a not for me.
Yeah, quite a wet blanket when it comes to Apple today.
Yeah, what about you, Ryan? How would you rate it in your books?
Based off the headlines you've been giving me, it doesn't look too rosy. But I can't rule out Apple in the long run because they always find a way to come back.
That's for sure. All right, now let's talk a little bit more about some of the other ratings. We've got TipRanks rating it a relatively positive note. They're giving it an average price target of $244.77. Yahoo rating at $247 and Barron's rating at $249. Its current share price is at about $236. So that would pretty much do it for today's Stock in Focus, and that's Apple. But of course, please don't forget to do your own research and due diligence before making a decision, and share with us what you think. 88550893. Do you see the company continuing to introduce great new products in the years to come and maybe even grow its value? Well, I guess that remains to be seen how they perform in the near term.
All right, more companies to watch tomorrow.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance.